much, Mr. Speaker. I am a proud Albertan, and I will never cheer against the province that I love. The approval of 2 pipelines is great news, and I will give the government their due. But lost in all the celebration is the fact that this government is making the same mistakes as governments before it. Alberta remains on the resource revenue roller coaster with no meaningful plan to get off. We don't have an economic diversification problem, Mr. Speaker. We have a government revenue diversification problem. To the Premier, do you have any plan to get off the resource revenue roller coaster, or will you simply cross your fingers and hope that the price of oil goes up?
Thank you. Honourable Premier.
Mr. Speaker, I'm not quite sure whether the member opposite what exactly he's asking for, but Mr. Speaker, we have laid out a clear and careful plan forward for the people of Alberta. As we all know, our government was left with an economy that was deeply vulnerable to the drop in the price of oil. As a result, there were 2 different approaches you could take. You could cut services, or you could cut more services. What we decided to do was support Albertans, have their back, and map out a careful plan to balance, which is exactly what we're doing, and we're doing it while we're supporting Alberta families, Alberta businesses, and Alberta's future.
First supplemental.
Mr. Speaker, your careful plan to balance relies on the price of oil going up and nothing more. It is pretty clear that the NDs think the previous government must have managed finances pretty well, because they haven't found any real savings since taking office. Now, the Alberta Party knows that it is possible to find at least $2 billion in savings without firing teachers, nurses, or other frontline workers. Every sector in Alberta has to do more with less, Mr. Speaker. Every sector except the provincial government. Again, to the Premier, will you commit to working with the great people in Alberta's public service to find real savings without sacrificing frontline?
Thank you, honourable member. Honourable Premier.
Speaker, I'm very proud to report to the member opposite that under the great leadership of our Minister of Finance, that's exactly what we are doing, Mr. Speaker. We are getting off of the roller coaster. We are not tying our spending to the price of oil. We are carefully bringing our spending into line while protecting important public services, while protecting Alberta businesses, while protecting Albertans. And that's what we will continue to do, Mr. Speaker.
A plan to maybe possibly balance the budget by 2024 is no plan at all, Mr. Speaker. The budget needs to not only be balanced, however, we need to actually get to surplus to pay back the debt that the NDP have accumulated. Now, the Alberta Party has a plan to eliminate Alberta's deficit while getting Alberta off the resource revenue roller coaster. It starts with capping the amount of resource revenue that we would use for operational expenses and allocating the rest to debt repayment and to the Heritage Fund. To the Minister of Finance, will you accept this plan of capping the amount of non-renewable resource revenue we assume we're going to use?
Thank you, honourable member. Minister of Finance.
Thank you for the question. You know, what this Minister of Finance will do will continue to move forward with the plan we have been elected on, the plan we are moving forward with. That plan controls spending, diversifies our economy, and invests in capital infrastructure throughout this province. That plan is the right plan. Their plan would have brutally cut the services. Their plan would cut more. I don't think the Alberta plan has a great deal to teach us on this side.